Hello, good evening, my friends. How's it going? Good evening, hello. Let's see who is here. Konin, hola. Sunny, hello. Inkblot, Sahas, hello. Fede, hola. Hubert, Elquan, thanks you so much for the 14 months. Thank you. William, how are you? Wirefinger, hello. Blue Crayon, how you doing? Reyeslo, hello. Mason, hi. Hello, is it 160 PCB lead free? No, I don't know. Probs. Homie, I wasn't home when FedEx stopped by, so I couldn't sign for the keycaps. Oh, is this signature required? I always forget that. Is that for the fucking for the HKV stuff? I forget that they do that. That's pretty annoying, actually. I don't even know where my closest like pickup for FedEx would be. So I hope they just like drop it off. I hope it's okay, but we'll see. Palm mods, they are these are resin, actually. These are like artisan mods by Misc. It was, and I didn't have an option to forgo signature. Yeah, it's I know they do that. I totally forgot about it. That's pretty annoying. Okay, so today should be a pretty chill build. We're just gonna be building a Keycult 160. So, 60%, gasket mount, usual stuff. For switches, got some of these MX clears. Got some lubed and filmed and I think also trimmed MX clears. Yeah, that looks trimmed. And then we got some TX taps. We got our kit right here. Also, hello to all my hermanos. Good to see you all. I know, I think I didn't stream all of last week, right? I think my last stream before this was on the Tofu 65 last weekend. This week was just kind of busy / didn't, just kind of wanted to take a short break, so I just kind of did. So we'll be back building more stuff over the course of the coming weeks. Alright, so let's get to it. Got hardware here, gaskets, looks like maybe some extras. Yeah, looks like I got maybe like extras for a few. Then we have our plate, silver alu. Then we have our PCB. I'll put these out here just in case. That's it, right? Are you surviving doing the work of 3 people? Not yet. Like, as in, like, the transition hasn't happened fully. So, not yet. But, I mean, it's coming. Yeah, like, it's bound to happen, Mason. It's gonna suck when it does. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest. Exactly. I mean, like I'm trying not to like assign myself the responsibility, because then they're like, oh great, sounds good, you can do it then, right? And I don't want to do that, right? Let the managers do their thing. So yeah. All right, and the board. So take this out. So looks like it's pre-assembled here. All right. So we got a win-keyless navy version of this board. Ask for that big old raise when it's PE time. PE time might be too late. I mean, like, our evals were like in December, like at the end of the year, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if this will last until December of this year. So Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it happens. I mean, if things all go really well, then sure. But if not, then you know, yeah, we'll have to look out. Explain you need it for the artists. It's okay. I miss Diego. Oh, thank you, Elquan. I missed you guys too, actually. Been sometimes there's times when I'm like I don't build for like a week or a couple weeks, you know, occasionally, and it actually gives me a little like itchy to do a build, you know, like I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do a build, like I haven't done a build in a while. I keep telling myself like, oh, I haven't done this in a while, right? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's been like a little bit. All right, so we got our plate, our PCB. And let's see our case here. So this is the navy version with a stainless steel mid. I'm assuming it's polished on the sides and the bottom based on this little shrink wrap or just wrap around thingy. Look at that. It's a nice color. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so looks very good. Let's put it to a side for a sec, and let's get to building it. Okay. Just break out the call sheet and they'll understand. Understand, okay. Very optimistic thinking over here. You don't want to demonstrate initiative and being a leader? Not very capitalistic of you. I know, SMH. Not contributing enough value to the shareholders. Kiwi can sandblast the weight with his litter. his litter box is definitely like, I mean, like, or like his litter is definitely very textured. So we would get a nice stone washed look to it. Okay, so layout wise, we'll do full backspace and 7U and split right shift. So that means I'll need 4 stabs. Actually, I guess I'll just take all these out. Might as well. And then just take one of these out. Okay. Silver blue, good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's these are APs, TX AP, so let's break the clips in a little bit with the wires. It's not very hard to do. Just insert the wire and unclip it and clip it a few times. And just kind of open it up a little bit. Okay, good enough. Anyway, how have you guys been? It's already February, which is insane to me. And it's honestly been pretty fucking cold in New York. I honestly can't wait for the spring. I enjoy the cold to some degree, but it's been a long snap. I would say it's not terribly abnormal, to be honest. I do expect it from a winter, but been a colder winter for sure. It's been the coldest one I think I've experienced in my time in New York, at least. I've been in New York for about 10 years total. Like, I guess technically not straight 10 years, but like 8 years and then like 2 years, something like that. And it's definitely been the coldest winter around in a while. So. You find any dope restaurants lately? Let me check actually. I sometimes save like places that I go to. What did I try that was pretty good? Do you know that, have you ever been to Soother? The one in East Village. So they opened one in LIC and it was pretty good. So I tried their LIC location this time and it was pretty good. That was like last week sometime. That was pretty solid. Also went to obviously I did go to a few places in Astoria. Let's see. I went to a French restaurant near Central Park called Brasserie Cognac. That was also pretty solid if you want like traditional kind of French fare. Not traditional, but like normal like French fare. It was pretty decent. It was not as pricey as I thought it would be, honestly, for French, but it was pretty solid if you're looking for French. Le Veau d'Or Betterer. It's Thai, right? Yeah. Soother is Thai. Yes, it's Thai. They're actually like, I think their East Village location was kind of known for a lot of their cocktail menu, as well as like my favorite item from their place is actually their tom yum. Their tom yum seafood like soup is like the most unique tom yum I've personally tried. It's very yummy. It's just different from other tom yums that I've tried, and I would highly recommend it. I think when I went, it was like a brunch type of menu, so we ordered some other things, but they do like good broths and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very good. I recommend it. I would say like they're, just like a lot of restaurants, like I guess like with prices going up, instead of raising their prices, they reduce some of the amount, but like, even then, I feel like we ordered, like a moderate amount, and like I was still like pretty satisfied, so I wouldn't complain about it. Yeah. Also, Jackman asks, how come Keycults don't use Wilbur PCBs anymore? Because a lot of the for a lot of the recent production. So the recent production, especially the ones through that Novel Keys organized recently in the past, like year or two, right? Those so Novel Keys works quite closely with another PCB designer named Yankar. Yankar has done a very large repertoire of work as well, and so Yankar has also been authorized to work on the Keycult PCBs along with Novel Keys, and so these PCBs are designed in conjunction with Yankar, and so but yeah, why not Wilbur PCBs? I mean, I'm assuming it's because of the work contract involved in doing these Novel Keys and Keycult collaboration runs, and Yankar is basically the lead PCB designer for the projects. And so he's contracted by Novel Keys to work on them, and so that's why you don't see the Wilbur PCBs instead. But the Wilbur PCBs and the Yankar PCBs, in terms of functionality, they are identical. They work the same. They have the same like cutouts and things that you need for compatibility. So yeah. So like if you don't like the Yankar PCB and you want to use a Wilbur PCB, you can look for one and use that. Wilbur PCBs have gooder resale value. Honestly, I don't know. I know some people who don't like Wilbur PCBs for XYZ or reason. I personally don't have many concerns with it. I think some people have had concerns over like that they appear like bendy, but it's like if you make the build, like put it all together, that like supposed bend kind of goes away, so it has no real interference or issue in functionality. But you know, I guess everyone kind of sees this differently. But yeah, the Lube PCBs do look pretty cool. So admittedly, it's like an aesthetic choice almost. Oh, this one feels a little sluggish. How come Keycults are sold anymore? I mean, I feel like the demand is there, despite you know, their relative decline in popularity over the past few years from various different things. I think there is still a market for them, albeit it is much smaller. And since all of these novel keys runs are like, you know, fulfillment based, like they're like GBs, open GBs, definitely gives a different impression than like a limited small batch run. So yeah. Cold just means it's jjigae time. I did make some doenjang jjigae today. That was pretty good. Still haven't gone to Raku this winter. Oh yeah, I haven't been to Raku in a while actually. I don't remember the last time I went to Raku. Usually I go to Raku when like maybe like someone's visiting town, or like I end up in that area. Like I think there's two locations, right? There's one like Washington Square Park area, I think, and there's one near, I think, East Village. But I haven't been to Raku in a hot minute. One of them is pretty small. Yeah, the east side one is pretty small. It's just the space that they rented for that is like tiny. The West Village, or not, is it really West Village? I mean, it's like, maybe is it? But the one near Washington Square Park area is much bigger. I guess it technically is West Village area. PV probably craving Raku. We'll probably hit Raku. Raku is very good. It's so yummy. Solid bowl of udon. I think this might be, I don't know if this is a bad take or a spicy take per se, but I personally think I like udon more than ramen. In terms of like repeatability and like, just like, I guess I just prefer the cleaner broth. And also like the noodles. So I kind of prefer udon to ramen. Some people do prefer ramen, but I feel like ramen is good once in a while, but it can be a bit overpowering in flavor. So I enjoy ramen, but not that often. Can't really do it that often. Just too much. That is objectively correct take. Yeah, I think so too. I think udon is just more, it's just easier to consume and to enjoy, and the flavors can be a bit more subtle, and in a way the subtlety is like that it can be a bit more intricate because it's like because it is a clean broth, you have to make a certain flavor profile that's not as punchy, and at the same time like if you want to like do like a mushroomy broth, or like if you want to do like a seafoody broth or whatever it is. Whereas ramen just kind of punches through your taste buds completely every time, I feel. I mean, there are some I've tried some good ramen that's like based on like what is that, like paitan, like chicken and like stuff like that, but like it's yeah, it's just different. My Japanese friend told me there will come a time when you prefer soba udon over ramen. Oh, well then that time has come for me. Just about in general. I think ramen is great for, it's like a trendy, nice thing. But like genuinely a little too much for my taste buds to have often. Once in a while is good though. I do love me a nice bowl of ramen once in a while. Ni hao. Hi Lamp. How are you? Can't wait to see some of y'all pull up to Nueva York. Do you guys watch the Superb Owl halftime show? It was very good. I actually did not watch it live, because I don't care for the Super Bowl anymore. As in, like, I don't care as much for the game. I used to actually. I used to watch a lot more football, but I haven't really followed for years now, and so we just kind of watched the halftime show afterwards. But and I heard it was a very one-sided game anyway, so there's that. The Super Bowl had like 8 AI ads. Yeah. Oh, I shared in a server that we are in, Lamp, about the Ring. Do you guys watch that Ring ad that they put on during the Super Bowl? Yeah, that was scary. Okay, like I'll just kind of give you the gist of it. You can look it up if you want. But basically, they're like, we have a new, you know, your dog got lost because he like escaped or whatever, and to find him, we will be using like the Ring, you know, cameras installed in every home to locate your lost dog, and this feature is now free starting now. It's like, Big Brother much? Like, yeah, I mean, when a product is free, guys, when a feature is free, you are the product, right? And so, yeah, super dystopia for real. So scary. Like, straight up, like, no consent. Here is all of the cameras installed, and we will sift through them to surely find your lost dog at all times, even if they're not lost, I guess. Anyway, scary stuff, man. Super scary stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I did not watch the ads for the Super Bowl this year. Or like, you know, like during the Super Bowl, right? Like, you know, ads have their place, but this year I didn't watch any of them because I kind of feared that they would not be great. I'm sure there are some humorous ones and some nice ones, but yeah, didn't really bother looking into it. A surveillance system should only run locally. Yeah. There was a time I had one of those, what is the doorbell system? The one that did run locally for a while before they tried to turn it into a cloud. And then they had, I guess, the cloud one, I think, recently had a security issue. What was the brand? Forgot the brand. Oh, was it Eufy? I think it was Eufy. Yeah, I had the local version one for a while, and that was okay. And then now we don't really need to use it, so we don't use it. But yeah, I agree. Surveillance stuff is, it's like, yeah, it should just run locally, and that's it. You know, like it should just be a local, just good old wires and whatnot connected, like surveillance system and nothing else. Like not connected to internet, not connected to like a million other things. Scary. Don't forget to upload your ID to Discord, by the way. Yeah, right. So, and then there's that, right? Oh, we care so much about your privacy. So therefore, you must now upload your ID to verify your age and your age appearing face. By the way, You must appear your age. And then we will give you access to features. And for now, we are not doing anything about it. For now. But then later, maybe somebody will make a decision to say something like, oh, to access this feature and this feature, now you must do this other thing. And also, sorry, but all your information has been leaked to the rest of the internet. And fraudsters out there. Oh, what the? Hello, welcome, Raiders. Alex, thank you for the raid. How are you? Hi, coming hot. The HKB looks fire. Thank you. How are y'all doing? Welcome, Raiders. Hope you guys had a good time over at Alex's stream. We're doing a pretty chill Keycult build today. Doing a 160 build with MX clears and an alu plate. Don't see MX clears too often, so kind of nice and excited to build it. Hair's looking silky. Oh, thank you. Hopefully in a good way. Especially with how dry and cold it's been, I have to say, like, I've been trying, yeah, like even right now I look at my hands and they look so dry, so I actually need to like apply like hand cream and stuff, like moisturize my hands and stuff more often, because it's been so windy and so cold out. Yeah, for those who don't know, like I'm based in New York, so it's been like a pretty cold, pretty frigid past few weeks out here. So just keeping warm, but at the same time the wind has been no joke. No joke. You're in New York, it's not cold, say it right? Yeah. I just grab my coffee and then, you know, go out there with nothing. It's fine. I mean, it's been irregularly cold in terms of, like, the length of time it's been cold. Has it been, like, unbearable? Not always. Only when there's a lot of wind. But I'm starting to get a little tired of it. As someone who isn't technically from New York. In fact, I'm like from a place that's like extremely warm all the time, which is Mexico. Or at least Mexico City. It's like not always warm, but it's like much warmer most of the year. It's like perfect temperature most of the year, actually. It's mad break outside, you heard? Yeah. Can you show us how much lube you put in the wire? Oh, sorry, I did miss that. I can show you just on this one. I can like mock it up for you. So on the wire, I pretty much just put like, so I like coat it first. I coat it evenly, like around the straight part, right? Around and then all the way around just to the bend, the corner bend. I think there was a command in Patty's stream that had like my tip on how to lube these, but and then basically I grab a little extra on the brush and sort of slather it so that it's like a small bead at the end of the wire, right? It's like basically just a little extra on the top of the wire and at the end, right? Just a little extra, right? So you can kind of see there's basically a slightly thickened layer. That's about it. That's good enough. That's good enough, usually. And just, you know, rinse and repeat kind of thing for the rest. So, you know, you kind of get the idea, right? How do you like the Bad Bunny halftime show? It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was. I thought it was. I've been thinking that the level of production value from these Super Bowl halftime shows has been like really good. You know, from last year and this year, it was really good. This year's was very wholesome. It was beautiful. I thought it was like it really celebrated what like Bad Bunny has been trying to like send a message for. And like, you know, from the Grammys and this and that, right? And it obviously celebrates like Puerto Rico and just like in general, like, you know, like America's like, you know, like melting pot of culture sort of thing. And that was nice. I thought it was really nicely done. I like, you know, I was in the middle of watching it, and then, you know, I was telling my I was telling other people like, oh yeah, I wish I could just like translate everything, but like basically everything is in Spanish, right? So it's like, I don't know if I want to like interrupt you watching it, because you kind of get the idea, but it is definitely a nicer experience if you understand like all that they're saying. But it was great. It was spectacular. I really liked it. Then it all wipes off when you're putting in the stem? No, so you need to, so when I put it into the stem, so that's something that you do need to watch out for, because when I put the wire into the stem, I make sure that the insert, you want to make sure that the insert is all the way down, kind of like flat against the same level, the same plane level of the housing. And then you put the wire, and because the wire basically lines itself up with the bottom edge of the insert, you won't be like, you know, losing all that lube on the way to put the wire into the insert piece. So that's definitely like something that you just kind of get by practicing. Jedi Butts, hello, how's it going? America, not the U.S. Proceeds to name drop every North America, South American country. Yeah, right. And people, you know, it's an education system thing, right? Like, as to like how you learn geography is different every place. Like in, so me growing up, you know, we consider the Americas like to be a singular landmass. It's the entire landmass all the way from, you know, the end of Canada, or I guess including Greenland in this case, all the way down to the very tip of Argentina and Chile, right? So so that's that entire thing is considered, you know, like the Americas like landmass, and that's like a continent, right? In the US system, if you learn geography here, you will learn that America is subdivided into, you know, like north, central, and south, right, for example. And then in like other definitions, people will like use Latin America as a whole, like a separate division for cultural things, and you know, kind of like the way people also look at Europe and Asia differently versus Eurasia and whatnot. But yeah. So like, you know, there's like the Olympics definition, which like it's supposed to be like 5 big landmass continents, and then in the US system, I think it's like 7 continents, right? So yeah. It is very strange though. Like, you learn that quickly because everyone, you know, I mean, especially if you grew up in a, you know, in a Hispanic, like in a Spanish speaking country, or like, you know, like in anywhere else, like in you know, in the American landmass, you learn that like the US sees that completely differently. And so you're like, oh, they call themselves Americans, but they only refer to Americans as in like from the US, right? So, you know, you learn that and you're like, oh, okay, so if that's how they see it, then okay. But it is kind of weird at first. I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting view. But I personally was like, you know, it's fine. Like, these systems, technically the system, the way they teach it here, they also teach it that way, like in Canada and like in other places too, right? And like I think like UK and some of the English speaking countries. Fun fact, Columbus actually never made it to North America. Yeah, true. Yeah, because he first arrived to, was it Cuba? Wait. What was his first landing spot? Was it Cuba? I think it was Cuba, right? It's been so long since I did, like old, like American history. DR? Was it DR? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, it was basically Central America first. And then he went back and then was like, "Whoa, we found, you know, we got to the West Indies." And then it was like, are you sure about that? And then everyone else came with, and then a lot happened, right? And then the rest of history. Bahamas? Okay, now I'm questioning myself now. I'm curious to the actual answer. New World in the Bahamas called Guanani. Oh, he renamed it San Salvador. That's right. That's right. He renamed it San Salvador. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's right. San Salvador Island. Currently present day, likely to be in the Bahamas. He's honestly so cringe. I mean, that whole era, right, of history it's kind of wild. So much happened at that time. Like in a relatively short period of time, actually. If you like kind of like study history and stuff, and you see it from the perspective of like Spain, you know, they go through the Reconquista, which is going to be taking the peninsula back from at the time it was like Northern Africa and Arab takeover, and then they sort of like reestablish themselves, and then now they're like we gotta like spread our influence outwardly, and then and then they get to the American landmass, the New World, and then they're like, we're gonna divide this new place into two, and they fuck over all the Portuguese by dividing it by the meridian that splits, that basically passes through Brazil, and they say everything west of here is ours and everything east of here is yours, and that ended up being just Brazil for the Portuguese and everything else for the Spaniards. And then of course there's the British and the French, right, who came after. But it's a wild time. My head system is screwed. Always thought he landed in Hispaniola. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm assuming everyone's like learning is different of this, and this is why it's kind of important to sort of learn everything, like different ways, and see kind of for yourself what seems to be more accurate. There is a lot of history washing. There's a lot of culture washing. There's a lot of you know, what is that famous quote? The history books are written by the victors, right? And it's true, right? Like it's you know, people will write history books as it's convenient to them and the future of that particular, you know, population, whatever it is. So it's easy to kind of fall in the trap of like believing what you think is the right, you know, historical fact, and then it turns out it's not, right? Why do we have Columbus Day? Well, it got renamed to Indigenous Peoples Day. When was this? It was during the Biden administration, I think, right? Oh, I forgot that I have 3 pin switches, so they're gonna sound kind of bad if I don't like hold it down. They sort of wobble a little bit in there if I don't like hold the switch bottom down. I'm just looking for rattle. As long as there's no rattle, it's fine. We've always been at war with East Asia. Oh, you know. History is complicated. The world competes. That's the reality, right? I think we all have to accept the fact that we all. It doesn't matter whether we're in a peaceful, relatively peaceful society or not. The state of the world has always been of competition, and you know that's why we are not a single country everywhere, right? But whether you do that in a relatively healthy way or not is a different story, and some things have turned violent, of course, but you know. Won't get too much into the detail of it, but we do live in a crazy world now. But anyway, back to the Bad Bunny halftime show. I thought it was beautifully done. I thought the production was awesome. I thought the message was great. The performance was awesome. Like seeing some of these celebs like Ricky Martin and like you know, like all these cool people showing up, like was it like Jessica Alba and like yeah, and that couple who got like married at the Super Bowl. Such a cool gesture. It's like, imagine if you're like that couple, you're like, hey, we're getting married, you know, come to our wedding. And he's like, actually, come to my show, you can get married there. And yeah, Lady Gaga, that was awesome. It was all put together so nicely. Really like I love the little kid that like Benito like gave him the Grammy trophy, and he was looking at the camera like, I was told to hold this and be like, yay. Thought that was so cute. Like it's obvious that he was just like, hold it to the camera and try to smile. And he's like thought that was cute. The little kid falling asleep, like, you know, like sleeping on the chairs at the wedding dance floor area. Wasn't it the same kid Ice used as bait? Oh really? I don't think so, right? It was not? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the show though. It was really, really cool. It's interesting though, right? Like we watch it from afar because we are not like there at the stadium. I do wonder how the experience of that varies versus being there in person, because like seeing it from like the whole like nicely like videographed like sort of event versus just kind of being there in one of the stadium seats, right? Like it's such a different experience. Still must be kind of surreal in a way, but yeah, it's cool to see. It's probably not a cinematic, yeah, for sure. You're there for the vibes. Obviously, you're there for the game, but yeah. It was supposed to represent Benito as a kid, and that he made it. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like a little time capsule almost. It's pretty cute. My daughter said, hey, that's me sleeping in the chair in the party. Aww. So cute. It's true though. All the kids out there who go to like their adult parents' business, you know, like reunions and whatever celebrations, and they're just like, I'm not here to do any of this. I don't even know what's going on. I'm gonna go to sleep. So relatable. I certainly was that kid at some point too. Super boring sometimes to be out there. Such a niche reference, executed so well. Yeah, it was like an instant too. So it was fun. I enjoyed all this. That was great. Alright, let's get this soldered up. Let's get my little fan over here. Heat up our soldering iron. Get that ready to go. So this Pro 2 on your desk just keeps getting more and more out of hand. It's still the one thing I go for if I break into your house. Okay. Thank you, Nine. So another thing where some people at the game said they couldn't see as well, but in true Bad Bunny fashion, he made it for all the people that can't afford thousands of dollars to go to Super Bowl. Also, you could have just watched the Jumbotron. Yeah. I imagine the shots would have been showing on the Jumbotron, right? So you could just look up and look at the video feed there to see what's going on. I guess people are there and they're like, oh, I'm trying to see what's happening. I can't see anything. But yeah. I mean, how do you expect to see everything from whatever position you're in the stadium, right? Like, you just can't. So, not for a show like that where it's like every angle, every side of the show is a thing, its own little thing. Jedi Buds, I'm currently rocking my HKB board too. Do you mod yours at all, like Pro Controller or MX sliders? No MX sliders. This has all OEM. I forget if this one had purple sliders or not. No. So this one I lubed a long time ago and has 55 gram springs. You know, like domes, my bad, not springs. And pretty sure this one also might be silenced. I might not be silenced actually, but yeah. Actually, no, I think it is silenced. It probably is silenced. Oh. Hi. Alright, let's get to soldering. Have you seen the new GMK Miami Dolce IC? No. What's this? And check it out. Let's see. So it's like Sky Dolce with magenta mods. The kitting has quite a lot of has a lot of bloat actually. So many accents. Yeah, at least interesting choice to do one-liner print screen and front print, but decided not to do two-liner scroll lock. That's kind of odd. Like traditional, but not quite. Same with the num lock. Got rid of the lock part. And I don't know, like using purse calves, but then the X is like the multiplication sign is like a normal one. How many kits are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kits. That's a lot. Wow. And then an accent row on top too. Macros. I don't love this Dolce, the ISO one. I think it looks kind of awkward, but fine. Because this is a 1.5 use space for this whole thing. It's interesting to go with the double shot route for this too. The enter keys. When you're kind of like lean into the classic. I don't know, it's fine. I don't personally understand the Q at one if you don't have the M and the mu. Or maybe something else to flare it up. I feel like just the Q and at doesn't really help anybody. Because this Q and at thing is from a layout thing. It's from like certain international layouts that have Alt GR plus Q gives you the at sign. So it's kind of odd. But it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. It's very busy for the kitting. There's like this kit, this Dark Alphas kit alone is gonna be like $100, and it doesn't even come with modifiers. So, yeah. Like this accent kit is $100 too, you know. It's a tough sell because they're very bloated. They're very bloated kits. It's very hard to sell child kits that are this big, I think. But yeah. N9 Spacebars will be sold in stock at GMK. Is there where's the reassurance that that is definitely gonna be the case? I don't think they do sell any Spacebars in stock themselves, actually. Anyway, gonna be a tough sell though. It's there's too much going on. But also, this is the Carter guy who bans people for having opinions, I think. So, I mean, best of luck to them, but I've seen and heard things that aren't really making a very good image in the community. So, you know, best of luck. I feel already that Monochrome Dolch was a little bit of a Hail Mary situation with KLC really pushing it through with the Dolch Jane collab, but it was also gated by that too. Like, you had to buy the set to get the keyboard, and so I think that leaves a pretty bad taste for a bunch of people. I personally disagree with the practice. I personally think that the keyboard being a match should be, in my opinion, keyboard being a match to a set should be a driver of sales, just in the sense that it incentivizes people to have a matching keyboard for the set, but it should not require people to buy the set to get the keyboard. Like, that's pretty much, that's just gatekeeping it, right? And doesn't help the keyboard or the set, in my opinion. It does prey on the FOMO thing. I get it why people do it. Like, I get it from the vendor perspective, but it's honestly awful. Honestly awful. I personally don't love that. Like, let people get their keyboards. Let people get their key sets, but don't make them do both in order to, you know, qualify to get the other one. It's a slap in the face. It's all. Carter's God Complex. Your Mezzi albums are looking extra handsome today. Oh, thank you. What does it have to tab in the alt kit? Use on 2 boards. Yeah, so that is actually not bad practice. The extra, like, if you have, for example, an alphas kit, an extra alphas kit, and you want to, like, Dolch R5, the first iteration did this. I trimmed it down, actually. I trimmed down the Hangul kit on the original Dolch R5 run to the one in the R5X because it would make the Hangul kit too expensive. But assuming that you expect a decent outcome for the set, for an alt alphas kit, it's not a bad idea in general to have that extra backspace and an extra tab key to allow people to use the set on 2 boards when you purchase the base kit and the alt alphas kit. That said, you pretty much have to be guaranteeing your customers that your MOQ is not going to be a problem, and pricing is also going to be good enough. I personally changed that on Dolch R5 because I knew from the first run that the numbers weren't so good on the Hangul kit, and it was probably because it was too expensive of a kit if you just bought it, and so it was unfortunate to reduce it to an alt alphas kit that only was able to be used with one keyboard at a time, but it did make it price wise a little bit more accessible, which, you know, it's just a sacrifice you make for that to work. I don't think we are in a time anymore though for GMK sets where you make kitting that is like, you cannot bloat your base kit, period, in my opinion. Like, I think you want to give as much compatibility as possible in your base kit and no more. No alternate options in the base kit if possible. But you know, it's tough. I mean, GMK sets can be a bit of a tough sell now, I would say. I mean, the community has contracted a lot, and it's frankly pretty hard to say what's gonna sell well and what's not now. What do you know about Dolce? How many GBs have you run? Yeah, that's right. Right. Anyway, I mean, good luck to them. I personally think that both their behavior and, more specifically, more so than the behavior, to be very honest with you, the constant ICing of everything is essentially a way to, what is that, like, lay claim on certain things, like to say like, oh, this is not IP, like, it's not my IP, but if someone comes up with an IC or a GB, even just straight to GB, a vendor says like, hey, I'm gonna run this set, this colorway, like, having the IC there is like just a way to be like, oh, I actually had an IC before, so like, would you mind not doing that? But and then on the other hand, he's saying like, oh, no one owns this colorway, so I can do this. But then when you have like 25 ICs at the same time, right? It sends the wrong message entirely. If you're gonna work on one or two things, do those one or two things only at a time. You know? You own Blue Alert though? I don't. If someone else wants to learn Blue Alert, whatever, they can do it. I think somebody asked if they could run Blue Alert in like Keycult or something. I was like, yeah, do whatever you want to do. You know, I had to ask for permission to run Blue Alert myself. So I was granted that permission under certain conditions, and I fulfilled those conditions, and that was that. How have I never heard of this guy? Because they mostly operate in their own little, like, in their own server kind of thing, and I think they post on like Instagram, but I know you're not like hugely on Instagram either, right, Nine? So it's like best left being unconcerned. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Running 20 ICs and not taking feedback for any single of them? Yeah, right. Like, it's like, if you send a message that you're spreading yourself too thin, and that if you happen to be making blunders and mistakes here and there, and someone tells you about it, and you're not receptive to the feedback at all, then it just makes you arrogant looking, which I think is what's gonna happen. But, you know, we'll see. We'll let the market play itself out. I trust that people vote with their wallets when it comes to product that they want, or product that they think is worth, like a project that's worth supporting, whether it's a, I honestly don't care whether it's a parasocial thing or not. Like, sometimes people do support because they like the maker, they like the creator, they like the designer, they like the person behind the thing. And that's cool. Like, I just concluded a small little mini group bike called DCS Life Beats. It's just spacebars for deadbeats PVT sets, and I'm not gonna lie, it's an expensive ass spacebar kit. It costs like $25 and you pay sales tax, and then there's like shipping, which is like, you know, if you think of it, the overhead, like you have to think of like shipping supplies and the shipping to me, and then shipping it back out to other people. And if you're international, you pay like $15 to $20 for the shipping. Even if you're local, you're still paying like almost $15 or like $16, I think it was like for the shipping, based on the math. And so it's expensive. And so, you know, like people are like paying like what, $40 for this like spacebar kit, right? Essentially. And it's not cheap. Could I have asked somebody else to do it for me? Maybe, but I actually don't know if it might have been more expensive or even about the same, actually, because then if you ask somebody else to do it, then you have to pay the employees who are doing the warehouse work. And from that, you have to consider that the pricing matches that need. So it's tough. But I do kind of think, like, you know, part of the live beats thing, like, people did support because, like, I did do a previous run and that run went okay. So, like, maybe there's like a bit of confidence in that it will be fine. But, like, you know, it's not a cheap little project thing. It's like very low MOQ, so the price is really high. How about Blue Alert pudding caps? Do it! Max shine through. Let's go. I buy 13 sets. I fade Blue Alert. Yes. Hi Diego, just came into chat. What are we building the 160 with? I am using MX Clears today on an alu plate. Gotta be my exit scam. Yeah. Anyhow. Ooh, you guys see the GMK design contest finalists that have been posted in the past few... Is it the past week, too? The one that got posted this morning was really nice. I think it was... I like Russ, too, who posted it. Or, like, who designed it. But it was, like... it was basically a wob with yellow... was it Hebrew legends? Looked good. Looked clean. That was nice. Although there are some of the designs are pretty... The inspiration is pretty cool on some of the other ones that I've seen. So, but it's kind of cool that GMK is doing more public-facing stuff. They definitely didn't have any of that before, and so I'm kind of enjoying at least seeing that they're like more participating in the community. It kind of reminds me a little bit of how like HHKB US became more prominent in participating for meetups and sending prizes and like organizing public events that like benefit the community. So I feel like it's just kind of like the beginning of GMK being like so participating in so many community aspects, and I think it's cool. So, you know, best of luck to all the finalists. But the one that I saw this morning was really nice because it was very clean. Where do you see this at? Instagram. Instagram. I know Instagram is a tricky thing now, where like a lot of people have ditched all the Meta Facebook based services and stuff, like apps and whatnot. But now it's like TikTok's kind of dying too, right? And so I don't know. It's like where else are people gonna post? Discord is gonna soon see its demise. Maybe. We'll see. Well, like, service and shittification is so real, and I honestly don't know how far we'll make it and where we'll end up as a whole on the internet. Red Note? Xiaohongshu? Maybe. I have extremely lessened my social media intake. I think that's a great thing, personally. I still doom scroll every so often, and it's terrible. But I've been trying to like lessen it myself. It's tricky though, you know. It's tricky, at least for the keyboard stuff. Like I like posting my photos onto like the media, right, and like social media and stuff, and I think that's nice. But like, yeah, I think it's good to hear when people say like they've lessened it to like not become so connected to it, and so like, I guess for some people like just discouraging. Like, yeah, it can be pretty awful scrolling sometimes, but you know, or otherwise you just try to tailor your stuff to be fun. And like, I don't know, I get a lot of cat memes and cute videos and things like that, but and then on occasion I'll just get like funny videos. Sometimes I've gotten like random like lifestyle videos, like day in the life in like Japan, Korea, China, like things like that, or like random like markets in like Thailand, you know, stuff like that. It's been kind of interesting, like in different languages too sometimes. For a while after I came back from was it Turkey, I would get like Turkey related stuff for a little bit, and then I kind of stopped. Okay, I think we're good. I've been watching burned out Japanese salaryman videos. Oh, I know that one. I think I know that one. Well, I think there's a few, but I think I know which one you're talking about. I feel like I'm always getting attacked by ads. Oh, that does, yeah, yeah. Like every 5 posts, there's an ad, and it's very targeted. So yeah, that part is hate it. I despise that, but it's so hard to avoid it. Really dislike that myself too. Happy 40s day. Today's 40s day. Oh, happy 40s day, I guess. I didn't know it was 40s day. There is a 40s day. Is February 9 a 40s day? Just do it on something else now though, like RØDE or YouTube. I still try to lessen all around. That's good. That's a healthy habit, to just lessen your intake in general. Yeah, we've been trying to do more like other stuff, you know, like movies or TV. Lately we've kind of enjoyed going to the theater, like to like, you know, like, I guess I have the benefit being in New York, so you know, we've been checking out some shows in like Broadway and stuff. Like we saw Oedipus the play recently. That was a very cool like modern take on Sophocles' Oedipus, like, you know, tragic story, right? But like a modern kind of like darker humor, maybe slightly more like with a little like political sort of spin, because it was political in the sense that it was like, you know, it's Oedipus disguised like as a politician, right? And it's like his rise to and his like kind of like interactions with the different family members and all that stuff. That was pretty good. That one was really good. It was like a straight play, kind of like more, almost like felt like more like Shakespearean, and like it was like a straight play where you go in and you watch for 2 hours straight with no intermissions, and it was very captivating. The acting was really good, so that was really nice. And then recently we saw Death Becomes Her, the musical. That was splendid. They They won a Tony Award for like costumes and stage stuff, and like they deserve it. It was so cool. The props and like the effects and like just like the stunts and like all this stuff. Like it was really good. Aside from the fact of it being a good musical, it was pretty solid. But yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm done doing that. So let's get to the case now. So gotta open this up. It's the 40th day of the year. Oh, okay. That's actually kind of cool. 40th day, 40s day. That's pretty fun. I wonder what 60 would fall on. Sometime in March? What's the 60th day of the year? What's the Winkeyless TKL Classic TKL 84th day of the year? What's the Battleship day of the year? 122. I thought it was because it's the day with the most number of 40 users online complaining that sets have no support for them. I have a feeling, okay, and that's not nice. There's been a lot more 40 support pretty much ever in general for sets. So we don't live in that era anymore of not supporting layouts. Sheesh. Toper Tuesday. Yes. I do like the whole like Toper Tuesday, Winkeyless Wednesday, that kind of stuff. It's I think it's so cute and fun. What day is 65? Southpaw Ergo? Who knows? Used to have a 40s day every Saturday in my 20s. I see we can't have an 1800 day, at least yearly that is. Well, for 1800 you can count the number of keys on a traditional 7U 1800, like a G81 1800. I forget how many keys there are on that. Is it 101 or 103? It's one of those two, and then you can choose that one as the 1800s day. In my opinion, there's ways to work around this. You can do like full size, like standard full size day would be 104, I would say. There's ways to spin this. Yeah, make it work. Make it positive, you know. 1800 keys. Yeah, you're right. You can try. Who's making the first 1800 keyboard? Hyper 7 day? That's a fun one. You explaining this reminds me of when Eminem talked about words that rhyme with orange. How does that work? I don't think there are technically words that rhyme with orange, but I guess you can make it work if you do like you subdivide the word orange. So instead of rhyming with orange as a whole, you do range or like enge, right? Something like that. Like you can't make it work exactly, but you're kind of like, because like rappers do that all the time. They'll enunciate words in syllables differently, and make rhymes work with that, as they like, you know, like essentially like enunciation and how you split the syllables does matter. But that's kind of how you like rap. That's kind of how you like write verses. Door hinge porridge. Yeah. That's yeah. That's pretty much what he did. Oh, okay. I'll watch that later. Slant rhymes. Oh. What is stock spring length for cherry switches again? 15. 15. Just go and look at the listing for TX medium springs, and I think that's the same length as a cherry spring. Which I believe it is 15. It's like short is 14, medium is 15, long is 16, and extra long is I think 17 or something like that. Oh, I need to put the dB in there. Oops, wrong. $22mm, my beloved. That's a lot of the preload on the downstroke, I guess, on like when it like we're just starting to press down. That can be pretty nice for tactiles, I feel, like a long spring, or even actually some linears. Actually, what matters more, in my opinion, is the bottom out weight more than the length of the spring. The length of the spring controls how like much you feel that on the preload part, right? Like on the way up, essentially, like the push up of the spring, because it's like you compress it for that much, so the force that you feel kind of like pointing upward, right, like kind of like bouncing back up, is what you feel based on the length of the spring. But the actual force required to bottom out is constant, right? You know, assuming it's rated correctly. So as long as that's comfortable, I guess any length of the spring is probably okay. Generally speaking, it's okay. And then you just kind of do the swap arena based on like, you know, how much preload you prefer on your actual switches. I tend to be on the more like neutral side of things. I'm okay with like medium springs, but sometimes I'll do like extra long or like long springs too. I don't tend to do short springs often. It's pretty rare, I would say. $69mm 420 stage springs. 420 stage. So basically no stage. I don't think I need these alignment pins really. They just kind of get in the way. I love short, heavier springs on smooth and soft bottom out switches. Oh, short springs, short but heavy. That kind of works, yeah. So you're kind of depending on the weight on the bottom out rating for that pushback more so than the length of the spring. That's pretty fun. That is pretty fun. Oop. I only use 22 or the 17.5 Chewy. All those Chewy springs are so good. I really have been enjoying those. I pretty much have like a whole batch of those Chewy springs, like the Swagkeys Chewy springs. Those are really nice. And I've been in, and then you know, I've still been enjoying my TX medium springs, so like 15mm. But I do have a few like XL or L length springs too. Like sometimes like I do like using like 58, 57 gram springs that are longer. So it's like still light enough to type because it's like light bottom out, but the extra preload kind of gives it that like snappiness. It's pretty comfy that way. Diego, do you try the new cat hero yet on Overwatch? I don't think they're out. Is it out yet? I don't think it's yet out. The new like patch or trial run. I think it's still on Unrun, which is the new, like the Wu Yang sister, whatever, the new fire DPS. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Out tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, okay. Tomorrow it is then. I haven't played in a long time, but I don't know. This might be getting me back in. If I can convince my friends to play too. Yeah. I mean, we play 6v6 QP only. We don't play competitive and have no interest in 5v5 TVH. Personally, pretty boring. Playing tank on 5v5 can be different. It's very different, actually. I personally don't love it. Like, tanks can feel more overpowered on 5v5, but it just kind of isn't Overwatch to me, you know? So I don't like playing 5v5 at all, really. But that's just me. Do you keep all your personal boards the same spring weight? No. I am much less particular about that as as you might think. I actually just like to change it up, like in terms of like I don't need to keep a certain layout consistent to the same spring, and like if it's a linear, like it has to be 62 like gram M springs. No, like I don't do that really. Just kind of depending on what I have, I just kind of choose based on that. It's just somewhat of just a gut feeling. It's like, oh, I kind of just want to try this. So just kind of do that. But yeah, I don't really go with, like, I'm not super consistent in terms of like, oh, every board that has this switch has to have this spring, or every board this layout has to have this specific switch. Yeah, I don't really do that. It feels kind of limiting, but so it's like, try it, and if I don't like it, then I can always rebuild it later, right? So it's not like the end of the world for doing that. So yeah, I personally don't bother. What are your favorite domes to type on? Oh, for Topre? For Topre, my personal favorites are OEM 45 grams. Just a classic, standard HKB, like, or like Real Force 45 gram OEM. I feel like it's pretty much the perfect like weighting for me. I like don't have a strong preference. I do have 55s on these, but it was because I wanted to try them on an HKB. But it's not my strongest preference. They do get kind of tiring after a while, so I don't love them. I forget it was 5v5 or 6v6 back then when Mercy still had Rez as ult. When she had Rez as ult, that was still, it was 6v6, and it was probably Overwatch 1 times. So very different times for the game. Do you try Astrodome samples? I have not tried Astrodome samples, unfortunately. They better add a black cat and a white tabby skin. I'm sure all the cat varieties will come to Overwatch as far as like skins are concerned. I mean, they gotta make money from that stuff, you know? Come on, this is Activision Blizzard we're talking about. Let's not forget that this is that company still. Like reality. I hate that I play the game, you know, but it's fun, so it's just for the entertainment value. But I do not pay for any of Like, I do not pay money for battle pass or skins or like anything like that, cosmetics and whatnot. It's too much. Not Activision. Oh, right, not Activision. Right. Still, it's better now, I guess. But yeah, there was a time that people were avoidant of wanting to play. Still needs money, just different. Yes, I mean, as ever, every company. Yeah. Okay, now I can properly tighten these screws here that I purposefully didn't tighten all the way. And make sure our compression is nice and even. It's not perfectly lined up, I think. Yeah, not perfect, but it'll do for now. I'll line it up perfectly a little bit later. All right. Let's wipe this down a little bit. My hands are feeling kind of sweaty. What's up? I love RedTube. How are you? Whew. Hot. My dad worked at Blizzard for 20 years, by the way. Oh, that's cool. Are they a dev? That's pretty cool. Or did they work on like specific cool projects? They must. Oh, I like what Blizzard does with their I know someone who has been working there pretty much since we graduated college. And you know, they tell me about like like you get like certain years on certain work anniversary years, you get like certain things like the Stein and like the other things. Those are pretty cool. I thought that was like a cool tradition. I just scored my HKB Pro 2 for $100. That being said, I just want to say that I get why people say it's some of the best typing experiences out there. I think mine is stock. I lubed everything. I love Dynacam. I can see the difference now. Oh, yay! That's awesome. Jedi Butts, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I think the nice thing about HKB is that it's comfortable. It's the comfort about the typing that's nice about Topiary. It's like easy to go back to. It's generally very approachable. Modding is not that hard, to be honest, Topiary. It can be disastrous if you let your springs go flying everywhere, but otherwise it's pretty chill. So yeah. Okay, and I shall drink water. All right. What keycaps should we put on this bad boy today? What do we want to put on this? Jedi Buds achieved oneness with cup rubber. Yes, I'm so proud. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm just gonna check that the keys work. Future Funk. Ooh, that's kind of a nice set to suggest. Give me 1 sec. Let me just adjust some of the key map. Okay. All right. Dracula even? That's a good set too. Yeah. Some good suggestions over here. I do not have fabric, but I do have Pacific, Future Funk, Mizu. I don't have indigo, but I do have denim, for example. I do have Dracula. I don't have Monokai material. As I said, I didn't purchase. Moto Light. I don't have Moto Light anymore. I did have Moto Light before. I don't now. All right, let me go ahead and put a few sets up on the pole. I also have like Prussian blue if you want something like more monotone, but it might be too boring. Oops. Hello camera, come back. Thank you. Okay. All right, I'll do a poll here. Keycaps. Prussian blue. Someone said. Future funk. That was a cool suggestion. I think. Future funk can be pretty fun. Pacific was I saw a few people say it. Maybe I'll say denim and and sure, I'll put verbal suggestion, which is Mizu. All right, these are some good suggestions. So let's go ahead and vote, please. You can vote. You guys got a couple minutes to vote, and let me go back to testing and programming this. Oops. HKB so cute. Oh, thank you. Hi Keyrist, how are you? I've seen you stream a lot more. Well, I get the alert. It doesn't mean I catch the streams, but I see the alert. How are you liking it so far? Have you been enjoying it? Is it a chill way to do stuff? Trying to get used to it? Okay. Still getting used to it, but I mean, you know, you're doing it often enough, I feel. Ooh, wow, Pacific and Prussian blue are like neck on neck here. Ding dong, vote time. Someone asked what caps are on the HKB. Oh, yeah, sure. So the white ones are OEM. And then so basically these are from different artisan makers. So the mods are from Misc. I guess they don't make caps anymore, but they would make like mod kits for HKB. I guess nowadays if you want mod kits, you would approach Amano Studio and Resin Party. They both make HKB mod kits. Approach them if you want something commissioned from them. They are also very cool people who make very nice quality mods. Highly recommend. The WASD over here is from Togepi. Is it Togepi? I actually don't remember. Was it Togepi? I think it is Togepi. Yeah, I think these are Togepi. And then these are from Key Collective. Yeah. And then the artisans here are this from Alpha Keycaps, and that's from Hello Goodbye Caps. All right. Prussian blue with 10 votes. Oh, narrow win for the voters. Wow, last minute voters for sure. Yeah. Okay. I will go get Prussian blue. I'll be right back, my friends. Thanks for the vote, and I'll BRB. Enjoy the music. Alrighty, I am back with Prussian blue. Let's put this on. Should be a nice match, or close. It should be a nice color, nonetheless. That's just extra stuff. I don't think I need anything there. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. Like control. While these Prussian blue renders are not accurate, Prussian blue is a tricky color. I'll say that much. The set colors are definitely, I would say they're kind of different from the renders, yeah. So it's a tricky color to render. It's a nice blue though. I personally highly recommend the set. I think it's one of the best blue dominant sets to come out in recent years, and there's a lot of sets out there that have blue in them, but personally a favorite. Or at least a new favorite. I've tried it a couple of times and it's been a very, very nice fit for boards. Tejimi, hello. I'll ask again here, but do you put something on your bottom of your HKB to stop it from sliding? I just have regular clear bump-ons. I just put the regular like clear bump-ons. Now not so clear, but you know, they're just the regular bump-ons. I put them on, I guess not technically the corner, but close-ish. Just normal bump-ons. I mean, obviously it doesn't have like the slots for the bump on, so if depending on what your surface looks like, it can kind of come off, but it's better than nothing. I've seen some people do the what was that, like that like thick pad that sticks to the bottom of the HHKB. I've seen some people use that. That's also fine, but I didn't want to pay for one of those, basically. Didn't feel like it, so I just used the regular bump-ons. Your logo is Prussian blue. Unintentional. I just like blue. But that unintentional. Striker bestest blue set can't be beat. Why would that be, Mason? The renders make it look much more greenish. Yeah, so it's a fun set that has a tinge of green in there, actually. Like if you look at it in certain lighting, you will see that the green is kind of there. Like there is some green in there, but it is very dominantly blue, I would say. But it was I guess it's a tricky set to render for them. But yeah, came out nicely. It's all that matters, I think. At least hopefully not too much of a disappointment for people who got it and were like, oh holy shit, this is not as green as I thought it was gonna be. All in all, a pretty attractive set though. It's like Converse blue. Dio getting his full crib on. Just realized this build is silver blue good. Yeah, it is very much so. Is there any noticeable difference between clear and MX2A black? What do you mean clear and MX2A black? Like MX clears? MX clears are a wholly different switch. They're a tactile switch. They're a medium tactile switch. They're more tactile than the MX browns. They typically come with a very heavy spring. So I personally recommend a spring swap. But some people actually do like using them with heavy springs. So kudos to them. I personally am a weakling and I cannot stand using such heavy springs. So I don't. But yeah. Yeah, 60 or 65 clears are my own preference if I have to go with that. Okay, let's put an artisan. Let me grab one of these here actually. I think I want to put this cool little axe by, it's called a Clax axe or something like that by Wheat Keys. Made this. Okay. Every time. All right, let's see. Let's look at that side view here. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. All right. So let's try this out, shall we? Okay. Let me find the typing thingy. Oh, it's a little cropped in. I guess that's pretty good. Okay, that should do. Okay. Let's mute that and let me put the microphone up. Okay, so good old Prussian blue. Still muted. Is it? Okay, now it's fine. Okay, I think now it's fine. All right, sorry about that. I just must have double clicked it instead of single click. Okay, so this is once again GMK Prussian Blue for the keycaps. We got MX Clear build, 62 gram springs, lubed and filmed on a silver aluminum plate. I guess the color doesn't matter. Just aluminum plate, aluminum full plate. This is a Keycult 160 with its standard isolation gasket mount. Let's give it a shot, shall we? All right. The Bifrost is misaligned. It's triggering me. Okay, sorry. There. Is that better? All right, here you go. some random damn stupid thing opened, interrupted me. Let me try this again. Okay, sorry about that. Random pop-up for an update. Okay, try it again. All right, there it is. That's what it sounds like. Spacebar is off. Alphas are great. Oh, that's just how MX Clear spacebars kind of sound like. They definitely sound a bit different from like MX Browns, which are less tactile, so a little bit less of that like slappings kind of sound. But yeah, this is not too abnormal for an MX Clear build, I feel. Depends on the board though, for sure. I do think linears do tend to sound nicer on the Keycults, but just wanted to, you know, MX Clear was the build for today, so we did MX Clears. But yeah, it's pretty typical of the way this kind of sounds like with MX Clears. Yeah. On the stiff side, that's for sure. Yeah, William, I agree. And can we try a block in the spacebar next? It's not a hot swap PCB, so I would have to desolder. Sounds like a keyboard. Yeah, I think it sounds nice. I think it's pretty subjective though, so maybe it doesn't sound as good to you guys. So, okay, let me try the mods now. Let's go to the mods. What springs? 62 grand. So there it is. Muddy spacebar, clocky walkie. Yeah, a little clocky. Yeah, like clock, 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 clock. kind of sound. Yeah. MX Clear spacebars, in my personal opinion, are definitely the weaker point of MX Clear builds. I do agree with that. That's why I actually, for tactiles, personally prefer MX Browns over MX Clears. But I'm not opposed to trying MX Clears though, because I think they can sound pretty good, and I think they can feel pretty nice. I think they feel really good, which I think is the stronger point for MX Clears, because they're like a medium tactile. So, which, you know, I personally am not a huge fan of heavy tactiles like the, you know, like Holy Pandas or anything like that. Anything that has bump right at the very top and then collapses. That's actually not Topre, basically. Because Topre has that specifically, right? Like Topre tactility is very much like, you know, you have resistance all the way at the top, and then collapses as the dome, you know, presses down. It is pressed down. On an MX Clear, you get a little bit of a rounded bump, where you kind of have a little bit of play at the very top, and then you go through a medium tactility bump here, and then collapse down to the bottom. But personally, I think the forte of MX Clears is how they feel. But generally, I would say most of my MX Clear builds sound personally less nice than like an MX Brown or MX Black build, but not fair to compare with MX Blacks. Just a very different switch. Every day we stray further, yeah. But anyway, I personally love how MX Clears feel, so here we are. All right, all MX Lock build next. Yes, I wish I do have an MX Lock somewhere. Do I have it here actually? I have an MX Lock somewhere around here. Ah, found it. Look at this. That's the MX Lock. A very unpleasant switch, actually. The locking mechanism is not very good at working well. It does lock, but actuation-wise, it doesn't quite lock as well as it should. Just a design problem, but it's a cool switch. It's a nice little relic, kind of neat little thing. But yeah. Okay, so that's that. Let me resume the music over here, and maybe what we can do is show the board. So, you know, this is what the board looks like that. Just look a little hazy, huh? Probably reflections from something else. Oh, it must be from the glass here. Something. Anyway, yeah. But it looks pretty good. And I'll show off the board itself. So, spit, gross. That's what it looks like. Prussian blue. It's a nice fit for the navy tone of the case. It's actually, it's kind of interesting. It reflects light a little differently at certain angles. So on the camera view right now that you guys are looking at, you see quite a lot of blue, but at the angle I'm viewing it out from here, I see a little bit of the green of the pigment coming through. And so it looks slightly different from the case color, whereas on the camera here, it looks kind of closer to the case color, right? And then you have the polished steel mid piece, bottom piece, right? Look here. Does it smell like a keyboard? Yeah, it smells cold and metallic. But yeah, nice and polished metallic piece here. Kind of goes all the way around like that. And then I guess I'll just show it from this view as well. Actually, I think the focus needs to be adjusted. There it is. Keycult 160 with MX Clears. Kind of clocky spacebar for sure. But there's the back, polished look, and then the side profile. It's a little dirty at the bottom. Where's Peaches when you need her? Yeah, but you know, pretty nice. Oop. Focus, focus. I hope Peaches is doing well. Yeah, same. I hope so too. Yeah. But yeah, pretty nice. Nice color. I do think, yeah, the polished look on this looks pretty good on the 160, or like on the #1 overall design. That said, it does kind of, it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, so a little less, I guess, attractive in that regard. But you know, it's just the pains of having something polished like that, mirror polished. Do you guys have any other questions, requests, or anything? that's pretty much. Oh, you guys want to see something cool? Give me like a minute. I'll be right back. I think the ads might play, so maybe I'll move those forward, and I'll be right back though. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna show you a cool little aside, a little piece of history, you guys. But some people might say it's a flex, but it's fine. But I thought it would be kind of cool to see it side by side. So this over here is a original number one. It is it is actually the first number one. It is the prototype. I have it built with MX wax, with an FR4 plate, FR4 half plate. Technically, it was a full plate, and then I snip to make it a half plate. I've had this for years now. How do you acquire this? I got it from Ride on the Bay back in the day, early days of stuff. He was offloading the prototype, and I picked it up. Oops. So these artisans are kind of loose, but look at that. Navy and silver. Number ones. So this is actually not a steel bottom. The mid piece on the number one TKL here is actually there's like a blue-gray color. It's not quite navy, of course. You can see that it's kind of more dull, like neutral color. It's technically like a blue-grayish color. And this one is right side USB. Probably could swap this with a USB-C, to be honest. It's a humongous right side USB port. Quite a lot of space for a USB-C, so I could just switch it out. I haven't done it because, you know, it's just kind of a pain. But it's actually a chrome-plated nickel. It's a chrome-plated nickel mid-piece. It's pretty ugly on the inside. It actually it was never done again because it's too thick. The plating is too thick. The fitment of this chrome-plated nickel piece is actually pretty much impossible to remove this mid piece from the board. It's just kind of stuck in there because it's a little too thick. So it was done for the prototype, then never again. So yeah, that's an original number one TKL from back then. So yeah, like a little bro, big bro situation for sure. But I just thought it would be nice to show, just to kind of like goes back to that original side profile from the number one TKL, and then now we have, you know, the number 160 with the same side profile, right? So pretty neat. Figured that it would be kind of cool to show. Also, the typing angle on this is a bit different, I would say. I think it was steeper back then. This is like a solid like 9 or 10 degree typing angle. It's pretty steep. I think on the newer ones it's slightly less steep. It became a little less steep when they did like the revision. I think this is like maybe like 8, but yeah. And the bezels are pretty chunky on the original one. It's like so thick, like the forehead and the little front parts, like kind
kind of thick. Yeah. But yeah, this unit is pretty old. I mean, I can actually see some discoloration on the unit itself, like the metal, the aluminum. I keep it pretty clean and all that, but nonetheless, the age is starting to show. And so there's a little bit this discoloration on the blue-gray here, but it's no big deal. It has some dents and dings and all sorts of like little defects, you know, as it comes, but it's fine. It's you know, comes into a rotation every so often, and I personally like it a lot. So yeah, it's nice. It's a nice board. The resale value. Oh no, yeah, right. Resale value only matters if you're reselling it, right? So if you don't resell, then the value doesn't matter. that's kind of how I see it. I don't really care too much for the resale value if I'm not intending to sell it, right? Like it doesn't really care. Yeah. Now that we're being flexed on shows the Jane that you see personally built for you. Should I go? Do you want me to go get it? I guess you could see a different color for that. I can go get it if you want. Let me see. Okay, fine. I can go get it. It can be the last thing I get here. You guys can compare like the colors actually. The blue-gray on that one is also very different. It's kind of terribly off in a way. But turned into a flexing stream. Let's just showcase. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so this is another little different piece. This is the TGR Jane. Jane V2. Jane V2. This is built with MX Blacks on a half polycarbonate plate. Half polycarb plate. And blue-gray color from the group buy. And yeah, I guess technically like a B stock. Actually, it's pretty. There's a pretty decent mismatch in colors here. You can kind of see the tone of the blue is like changes in the seam. So it's like considered a B stock. But yeah, this was built by Mr. Yutzi. still have the original build that I got from back then. And I got this in 2018. Yeah. But yeah, this is kind of like a bit of a crown jewel in my collection for sure. It's like, you know, very sentimental value kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, actually, you can also see on the side here it has a bunch of little like little. The anode kind of like didn't make its way all the way through to the end, and so you have like little spots. So yeah, I remember Yutzi told me it was like BC stock basically, but he offered to build it, and I was like, I would love to try a build that you make, and so. Also sounds pretty nice. But yeah. So yeah, kind of 3 different blues pretty much. You have like a pretty solid navy here. This is like strictly speaking a navy, I would say. It was called blue gray, but honestly it's a blue. Honestly it's just dark blue, like middle to dark blue. And this is more of a blue gray. This is more of a proper blue gray. This is a blue gray attempt, but ended up blue. Actually, if you look at the gray units from the TGR JV2 buy, those actually look blue-gray. Those turned out much more blue-gray than the blue-gray units. The blue-gray units just turned out blue. And actually that varies a lot. The blues varied a lot. There was a whole range of blues because anodizing was a shit show. Essentially, and so, yeah, you'll see a pretty big range of colors for the grays and the blues especially. I think the pinks, the cyans, the reds, the purples, the silvers, those are all pretty standard color and they're pretty consistent. But the blues and the grays were pretty different in range. Yeah. Yeah, it means everyone gets like a 1-on-1. Yeah, kind of true. Yeah, it's true though. You kind of get a variation. You basically get a one-off every time you get one of like, you got like, people got like one of those boards. Every one of them is pretty distinct and different. So, yeah. Yeah. Purple is different too? Okay, that's not too surprising actually. If they did different baths, then you would expect different variations of that. Do you feel that the Jane V2 the Jane V2s work better with plastic plates? I will be honest, not necessarily. I do think certain plastic plate builds can end up feeling a little too, especially like around the spacebar, the support is not like quite there, and so it kind of depends on how heavily you type actually. For some of the heavier typists, I personally don't recommend it. It kind of feels like it just kind of collapses, especially around the spacebar area. And you could try using like a heavier spring for the spacebar and all that, but I do think plastic or like half plate, especially half plate builds for like with plastic for the Jane V2 style of plates, I personally think they're a little bit too soft. I think if you're going plastic plate, personally, a full plate I think is a little nicer. Especially if you're just gonna do like top mount, right? Yeah. What's EC boards? EC I only have HKB and Real Force. I actually don't have any custom EC. I do have a case for a Real Force. I have a Digilog case, but it's basically a Real Force internals. So that's that. I used to have a Norva Force. I used to have a Norva Touch. I don't have them anymore. I did not purchase a Heavy Grail. It was a little expensive at the time that I, was looking into it and just didn't have the funds at the time. So skipped it. And then never ended up going back to getting one. Same with like the show boards like the S60 and the HG and all those. They look cool, but I already like my plastic case toper boards, so I decided against getting them. Yeah, I was like, I enjoy what I have, so why should I you know, go out of my way to get more. So I ended up not getting them. But that's pretty much my extent with EC stuff. Yeah. How about your unicorns? I have a R1 and then I have an R2 that I built later on. The purple one. Yeah. What's your favorite Jane build? Personally, I personally really like the browns, like MX browns on carbon fiber that I built on the V2C, and I've built it like that a few times for other people. And I think MX Box and Alu honestly is really good for like V2 style plates. But I've tried some, like I think I tried FR4 half with, was it either it was like a JWK switch or something similar like that. It was like a Gateron or a JWK switch. Don't remember which exact switch it was, but it was like one of those like more like smoother stock switches. I mean, they were lubed and filmed and all that. That actually sounded really good with a half FR4 plate. Yeah, with a 1.6 millimeter PCB. That was a nice build too. Top mount. Yeah. I think if you're going for top mount, I think that was also a good combo. Kind of underrated, you know, in the sense of like people will tend to go over Cherry MX for a lot of their premium boards, but I think trying out options like atypical, like less typical, like plate options with some other switches, like it's always worth a chance. Like it's worth giving it a chance and seeing how it goes. If you don't like it, you can always, you know, rebuild. So just have to experiment until you find something you like. But I like half FR4 with like one of those like JWK or Gateron switches, like the full travel ones. Yeah. Yeah. I felt that the bar doesn't sound as full as with harder plates. Yeah, that's entirely the case. Yes. JNV2 with plastic half plates, especially, your spacebar will sound very thin. This one actually sounds a little better with GMK, but if I put like PBT, it kind of sounds high pitched and thin. It sounds a little better with ABS, but I don't mind it with like Cherry PBT as well. But I switched it to ABS and I liked it, so I just kept it that way. Yeah, FR4 clears. Ooh, yeah, that could be a fun combo too. I think FR4 goes well with switches that like otherwise aren't necessarily very muted. You don't want to like dampen too much. Basically, I feel like FR4 has a slight bit of a dampening effect on the sound, and so I think if you have a little bit extra volume from the switch and it's like comfortable to type on, I think FR4 is like it's a pretty nice middle ground material actually. That's not a metal, like, you know, it's like fiberglass or whatever, right? But yeah. Are those Desco Blacks on number 1? Yeah, this is a mix actually. It's a mix of like SAD, you can see the quartz layout key, right? So it's a mix of OG Dysub keys with Desco Black keys. It was the way it was sold to me. The Keycaps were separately sold to me, but it was sold to me differently. Like I have some pat printed, like the caps lock has the, you know, shine through, so it's pat printed, so that you can see it's like yellowed actually. But it was sold to me like that, and I just kept it like that. So, but yeah, it does have the Desco Black keys. I think these might be BSP made, but yeah. Showcase Unicorn R1. I currently have it somewhere else, but it's currently unbuilt. Actually, I need to rebuild that one. That's actually one of the boards I was meaning to rebuild at some point. My PCB died actually. My original PCB died. The original R1 Unicorn PCB was kind of prone to dying. I remember I built some for a few people back in the day, and a lot of them had spare PCBs to use, and they had to use it because, like, you know, whatever, ESD or maybe something else. But yeah, I remember a lot of people reporting that issue for a while. The left side USB ones. Yeah. So I think swapping those with like the McLovin ones was pretty good too.
Tried NK Classic Blues and half alloy in my derivative and my life changed forever. Ooh, that sounds good actually. Those Classic Blues sound really good. Because they're like not entirely the like softest, like quietest switch. So so yeah, I think that's a nice combo. Derivative is such a nice sounding board in my opinion. I think Derivative is one of the 60% that got away for me. In the sense that like I could get one, but I have boards that I enjoy already, so I haven't like, you know, I don't jump on the temptation to get one. But it's one of the boards out there that I think it's one of the best 60% out there in my opinion. I think it's so like really good looking, really nice sounding. Just like really captures like a nice 60%. The derivative, yeah. I think JJW does some really nice work, and I really like his designs. Like, yeah. I have a Cloudline V1 around, but yeah. Zane, hello. How's it going? Damn, you hate navy blue. Yeah. Diego, what's your favorite color? Can you tell? I actually like all kinds of colors, but definitely I have a bias for blue. But actually, for keyboard colors, personally, I prefer silver and grays. The blue thing actually came about later as I started finding out like that there were like keycap sets that work with them, and that like I enjoyed the combo. I kind of discovered blue as a keyboard case color that I liked much later. I actually didn't like it that much at the beginning. I wasn't huge on it. I preferred red a lot more back then. I actually still love red. Like for a punchy, strong color, like hits your, you know, like just like kind of pierces your eyeballs, you know, like it's a strong color. But red is like one of those colors that's like pretty versatile in the sense that you can mix it with a bunch of neutral sets and some of the, like the louder sets, but it can be a lot compared to blue at least. But yeah, I used to not like blue as much as for a keyboard case color. I used to like them on keycaps, but not so much on cases. Now I like them, but yeah. Do you know what the OG Jane and Jane C PCB properties were? I'm pretty sure the original Jane PCB, the Jane V2 and the Jane V2C PCBs were just normal FR4 1.6mm PCBs. Pretty sure. Pretty sure they're also not coreless. Pretty sure they're pretty standard fare 1.6mm PCBs. To kind of give you an idea of the Jane V2 and the Unicorn PCBs that Yutzi did, these were like his like entry level, let me try making a PCB myself kind of thing. That came about from him learning how to make PCBs from Liku back in the day. And then he didn't quite do it again, so that I think that kind of says a lot. You know what I mean? Either he didn't like the experience, or it was too much upkeep, or there were just better PCBs out there. So why bother making PCBs yourself when other people can do a better job with less time and effort? Right? Yeah, they're pretty standard fare PCBs. Yeah. He did some experiment PCBs, like I do remember seeing a no ground plane coreless vibe kind of thing when he was teasing the Alice for a while, but pretty sure those were like let's try telling the manufacturer to do it this way, and it was for fun. But I don't think it was that intentional and like special PCB. Just FYI, don't eat up the lore too much is what I'm trying to say. Some projects were just pretty normal, like they're just learning and doing and making prototypes and trying them out. It's not like not everything comes with like this deep lore and purpose.
because some people really like eat up the lore. They're like, oh, it's a historically valuable figure. It must be very meaningful, and it was defining for the time. So therefore, history was written in 2016. And yeah, no, it's not like that. They don't take it that seriously. Just yeah. There's a time people were like, what does TGR mean? And they're like, why is it Jane? Who is Jane? And it's like, it's just a nice name, and it could have been someone's name, but I don't think it necessarily has to be, you know, carry a special meaning. Don't read too much into it. That's what I'm trying to say. Are clickies still good? I think I like clickies. I like clickies. I think clickies are better in other domains that are non-MX, in my opinion. But click bar MX clickies are pretty goated, in my opinion. I really like click bar MX clickies. I don't use them that much, but I think click bar MX clickies are truly one of the best inventions in MX Switch development in the past, 10 years, whatever it is, or 8 years, give or take. Last keyboard nerds survive on lore. Yes, I know. Keycap lore, keyboard lore. Yeah. How many artisans do you own? I will not answer that question. Why is Jane? How is Jane? Fine, thank you. And you? OTD lore. Yes. Oh my god, the Koreans. Yes. Is there a difference between MX greens and blues? Spring weight. Spring weight is the main difference between MX greens and blues. Greens are the heavy version of an MX blue. There's a switch called MX Gray. The MX Gray tactile is the heavier version of MX, browns or clears. MX clears are already pretty heavy, actually, but yeah, MX Gray tactiles or MX Gray like linears. There's also they're like the heavy version of, but MX greens are the heavy version of the MX blues. Just FYI. Do you think it makes sense to break in MX browns? Personally, no. Okay. I'm a practical person. I don't feel a strong need to have broken in switches. If you want to do it, do it. They do feel nice, like the butter MX browns or whatever, or like the broken in, MX blacks, all that stuff. They feel great. I don't have breaking machines, so if I would have to do it, I would have to ask somebody else. So personally, I don't want to go out of my way to send out switches, get paid, pay to get them broken in or whatever, or buy broken in ones for a lot more, because I already like them without breaking them in enough that I don't feel the strong need to spend the money to do that. But some people do. Some people feel that breaking in switches is really nice and it's worth the extra money. That's totally fine, because it's technically little amount of money on top of what the keyboard actually costs, so it's not that bad. But personally, I feel okay about it, and I don't feel strongly about it, so I don't do it myself. Yeah. Have you heard about the calastrophes? Calastropes? No, I have not. I'll check it out sometime. DCS on clickies are fire. DCS and tactiles, DCS and clickies, yeah, very nice. The thin keycaps, clickies and tactiles, very good. That's why a lot of Alps boards with those thinner caps and tactiles and clickies also sound pretty cool, especially with a big plastic chassis. Which MX switches have click bar? Kale box switches are click bar MX clickies. Yeah. MX beige when. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the Cherry MX stuff now, but I did hear that they're switching manufacturing, right? So. Are MX Grays the same things in the mod keys of Vint boards? Yes. Same vibe. Yeah, same. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Usually, you'll find them on a space bar for a vintage board. Yeah. All right, folks. I guess I've gone on my little extra time, and probably should wrap it up here because I will have work tomorrow. So yeah, let's
let's wrap it up. Do we have any streamers, keyboard people? Might not be because it's a Monday. It's crazy, it's a Monday. I don't love Mondays. We can go throw a raid over to Mr. Or let's see who's live right now. Don't think I see any folks. What do you do for work? I'm an engineer on the electrical side. Alright, let's go throw a raid to Mr. The Jang, who is typically doing either Gundam or Lego and similar assembly builds as well. Usually in the makers and crafters category, but I think I see him on the just chatting right now. But he's a good fella who has raided and supported over here before, and he's super chill. And he also is well known to have pretty nice builds and pretty extensive collection of you know, small piece assemblable collectibles. So check him out. I will see you guys later this week, most likely. I am waiting on some prototype stuff. I am waiting for the Hope TKL to come sometime soon from Foras Signature. I'm waiting for some client builds as well, just kind of up in the air with shipping. So I'll probably stream later this week. Not sure exactly when, but you know, usually weekday evenings and sometimes weekends, but rare on the weekends these days. Usually try to reserve that time for family and friends. Alright folks, I will see you all later. I hope you guys have a wonderful night and a good rest of your week. Thank you again to Alex for the raid, and for those who stayed from the raid, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate you all. I always appreciate all of y'all's presence around here and hanging out and all that. So take it easy, okay? Bye bye friends. Goodbye. Take care.